Hello, this is the LEGO Marvel Thor Ragnarok set called the Ultimate Battle for Asgard. The set features this ship called the Commodore, which is a really classic looking superhero comic kind of ship. Very obvious geometric base, very bright colors, a lot of contrast. I like it. It makes for a nice looking toy, a proper looking toy, fun looking toy. It's actually a pretty stable build, pretty sturdy, and it has play features. It has the ability to shoot. You've got stud shooters on either side, 4 of them in total. They give you some extra shots for that. And I mean, it's very easy to pick it up and just swish it around from the back. It makes it kind of look like a frisbee almost. You want to just kind of toss it off like this, but I think that it's a nice looking thing to actually hold. It has a little bit of storage area in the back as well, where you can open this section up. It's kind of like the trunk. You can store your extra shots in there for the stud shooters, and also a gladius for the pilot figure to use. And that's actually an action feature right there. That's a button that you can push to deploy kind of a bomb, bomb known as Bruce Banner, so you can airdrop the Hulk when he's in his standard form. And the idea is that he's supposed to become the Hulk full-on proper by the time he hits the ground. So he will take no damage. He will do much damage to whatever is below. However, you have to get the other set from this series, from this sub-theme for Thor Ragnarok, in order to get the big fig actual Hulk version of Bruce Banner. The canopy just opens up right there. The figure does have to lean way back, but it doesn't look too bad. I mean, yeah, she's looking up towards the sky a little bit, but as long as you're looking at this from the front, it's kind of like she's looking forward. So it's actually not bothering me that much. And she's got a console piece there with a sticker on it. The other major build in the set is this larger scale Fenris Wolf, which is kind of like a larger take on the Legends of Chima Legend Beast kind of build. It uses the Mixel style ball joints for the legs, and it has a good amount of articulation. And you know, this is all genuine build. There are no stickers used on this whatsoever. It does use some relatively recent kind of specialized pieces that are used as claws themselves. I think these were first introduced in Nexo Knights, but they've got them here in black that actually look good for kind of creating some geometric shapes that represent tufts of hair. They've got different spikes. They've recolored these relatively new slope pieces that are angled off at the edge 1x2s into black here, and those are on the relatively recent curved 1x1 plates with the bar off on the side, so you can kind of angle those ears off in different ways. The mouth is able to open up like so, and it's able to close as well. The eyes are actually glow-in-the-dark pieces. They use the glow-in-the-dark plastic, no paint on that, so that should actually last for a good amount of time. The head is on a ball joint as well. They've covered up the joint with a couple of again, making it look like it's got kind of hair pieces behind there. The range of motion is actually respectable, better than it usually is for this type of build where they've got kind of flat legs. You know, you've actually got some room to twist the legs in and out. You can splay the legs apart. That's a really mean look right there. Kind of looking down at a figure. Actually, let me just set that up. You know, just imagine that a figure has been knocked back and on the ground and is kind of defenseless like that. You know, that's a really nice pose to be able to get, and it's important to have the legs splayed out to get it kind of a little bit lower to the ground like that. So that's actually pretty cool. There are a lot of cool things you can do in terms of posing this. The paws are on ball joints, so you can move those around. You can make it look like it's leaping through the air. You know, it's pretty good. And then also the tail is on a single ball joint at the base and has one other little bit of it that can be angled around. So I actually very much like the build of this. It's a little bit confusing looking from a distance, like you're trying to see from some angles what are we actually looking at any given time. For me at least, sometimes it takes a minute to just kind of register what the shapes are, mostly because there's so much black there and there are many different types of geometric shapes that are mixed around. You can place a figure up on the top of this to try to get control of it, but yeah, overall I think a pretty good looking build, and definitely provides inspiration for doing other animal builds. As of the time of the recording of this video, the official movie pronunciation of the name of this character has not been released, and we've learned many times that the movie pronunciation of a name can vary. You know, the live action movie adaptation pronunciation can vary from what people in one or another country think it should be, or what has been considered the standard, or what has been shown in other media previously, so we just don't officially know as yet. I'm going to call her Hela for now, just to stay out of trouble completely. It's H-E-L-A, and eventually we will get the official pronunciation of her name, because at the very least it will show up in the movie. Enough about the pronunciation of her name. This is the fully built up version of her. Obviously there's just a minifig there as well that can be taken off. I'll show you that a little bit more closely, but this is the fully powered up version of her, and she has a couple of these Power Blast pieces in black. First time I've seen those in black, kind of fancy. Kind of goes with the whole dark power, also kind of cloud-like bursts of dark energy that can be emitted. So that works nicely. I think that it can look good for posing, and also it has the the actual play feature of being able to fire something off, and those work really, really well. Let me actually go ahead and get this in closer so you can see the detail of the figure. For options, she also gets a pair of weapons that can be wielded. Those are just in gunmetal gray, just previously existing molds. The torso is molded in black, and then the dark green and the bright green and the flesh tone are printed on. Because there is so much dark green that's printed on her, her torso looks very flat to me, very matte. It's the print itself is a flatter look, a flatter finish than the plastic itself. I think maybe they should have molded that out of dark green. I'm not sure. It would have been dark green around the sides. Maybe this is the best, but it looks a little bit too flat to me compared to the normal sheen that you see like on the arms, for example. But that is what it is. Print on the head gear piece, and this is not going to break too easily because it's a fairly soft material. It's not too soft. It's not just kind of drooping all around, but at least all these small bits that are actually relatively thin are probably not going to fall off too easily. Now they do give you more options for this figure yet, nicely molded around the back, but she has the dark green cape, which is a relatively recent version, the newer version of that, of the cape, the newer type of material, which does not crinkle up easily. Good printing on the back. That actually looks very good to me. Maybe could have used just a little bit darker, a little bit more saturation, I guess, for the little bit of skin tone around the edges, but look at this. She has her alternate face, her more human-like face, and also in the set, they include her regular hair. Okay, that's a nice print for the face. I don't know if the hair is ideal, but it's a pretty decent match to what we've seen. I don't know if it's supposed to be kind of braided up around the center. It should be a little bit more messy, but I think that the head does it. The face is good. These are a pair of identical berserkers, and there we go. That's the angle that I really wanted to show, so you can see the texture of the print and see how flat that looks. It just really lacks depth to me when you put that much print on at the same time. I feel like when you turn it out of the light, you can see the contrast just a little bit better, but still a lot of that just kind of fades away, which is a shame because it's a really nice print. If you take a moment to look at it carefully and you get it in just the right light, especially like look at the one on the left there, that looks really good to me. But just the finish itself, the texture is a little bit difficult to palate, I think. Just takes something away from it. Got the extra kind of spike on the back that's sticking out there, and print around the side as well, and around the back. Very extremely subtle. Let me take that weapon out of the hand so I can finish turning around. There we go. Very, very subtle. It's there, but it's tough to see. Really good print on the back of the torso as well. Maybe an even nicer design, in my opinion. That's really strong design work there, especially at this scale, and for something that's in Lego where everything tends to be detailed down. to make things a little bit more toy-ish. But again, just difficult to appreciate how good it is because of the finish. On the good guy side, here are Thor and Valkyrie, and I realized I forgot to show you the action of the Bruce Banner bomb dropping mechanism. So I'm just going to push the button in the background here and you'll see him fall. That's all that happens. He just falls. And it's, I don't know, it kind of looks a little bit cruel to see a human being just falling to the ground, face first, total belly flop onto the ground, but that's how it works. And he's supposed to transform in midair. But like I said, they don't include the Hulk version of him in this set. However, they do include kind of a transformation beginning version of Bruce Banner with his alternate face there. Yeah, so that's where he's starting to turn, and maybe you can leave that face exposed on the underside of the Commodore to just kind of give more of the suggestion of what's about to happen. These cape pieces are cut nicely. I believe those are both brand new cuts. So for Thor, kind of goes off to one side, and also for Valkyrie, it goes off to one side, but it's got the chops in it, to give it a little extra shape. Really nice looking pieces, and I think that especially for this theme, that texture that's in there looks good. It just goes well with something that's kind of detect, a little bit of the technology taken out of the scene in general. Thor has a couple of the power blasts done in the previously existing trans light blue color, which works just fine. Those work exactly the same. It's got printing on one side. So for his arm, he's got his helmet with the wings, like he has been drinking some Red Bull, and both of these capes, I guess, are the newer type of material, which allows you to easily move them out of the way. So you can see the prints on the backs of the torsos, but I will go ahead and take off the headgear the rest of the way. Valkyrie gets no alternate face because you can see so much of the back of her head anyway, but Thor gets his more powered up version where he's got the lightning coming from his eyes. I think this is a good toy. It's good for play. The Fenris Wolf has good posability. You've got plenty of weapons, a good number of figures to play with, and as simplistic and retro looking as this ship is, it's a good thing to play with. You hold it, it feels like it wants to be actually swished around. You can shoot with it, you can drop Bruce Banner bombs, or stick other figures there, or other things, like you can attach bricks to that and make actual bombs and such. Everything works well. Even having the compartment there is a good inclusion and something that they don't always do. It's nice to have places to put your extra stuff that's included with a set. I don't know if this will have a tremendous amount of appeal to some older fans who would be more into the collectability. Of course, you do get the figures, but in terms of how much you're paying for the builds, I don't know how interesting those will be to more collecting oriented fans, especially given the limitations of the build with the Wolf. To just have it not looking all that realistic, I guess, just because of the surface texture of it. Just my opinion on that, just what I feel may be the case. But for what it is, a toy, I think they've done well. That's the Ultimate Battle for Asgard. Hope that you've enjoyed this review. Hope that I showed you everything you wanted to see here. I'm going to get to work on my next video, so I'll talk to you again soon.